Hi everyone, welcome to iFashi. In today's tutorial, we'll be teaching us how to draft this beautiful drawstring sleeve dress. You can make the length of your dress short or long, depends on your choice. The part we'll be focusing on is how to achieve the upper part of this dress from the sleeve down to the half length. So whatever style of gathers you want to do downwards is completely your choice. So guys, let's get right into this tutorial. So here is our pattern paper that we'll be drafting on, and the first thing I'm going to do on this pattern paper is to come inwards from the beginning of my paper with 1.5 inch for my zipper allowance. This is because this pattern paper will cut my front and back piece for me. So come in with your desired zipper allowance. You can use 2 inches or 1.5, depends on what zipper allowance works for you. So after taking that zipper allowance, I'll label it the zipper allowance, and then I'll come down with 1 inch from the top of my paper to get my shoulder line before I'll start taking all my measurement downwards from that shoulder line. Now on this shoulder line, the first measurement I'm going to take is my neck circumference, which is 3.3 inches. After taking the neck circumference, I'll go ahead and take the shoulder length as well. And my shoulder length is 16 inches. When you divide it by 2, it will give us 8 inches. Now we're not going to stop at the shoulder. We're going to add 10 inches because the sleeve of this dress is from the shoulder is cut together, so we're going to extend this shoulder with extra 10 inches. This 10 inches is also going to be cut, slash and spread later, depends on how wide you want it to be. So now we've extended our shoulder with 10 inches. We're going to come down with 1 inch for our shoulder slope. After taking the shoulder slope, we'll go ahead and slant it to meet our neckline. So now that we're done with our shoulder, the next we're going to do is come down to get our chest line. If you don't know how to get your chest line, you can just divide your bust measurement by 6 and add 1.5. That will give you your chest line from your shoulder downwards. So you mark that out and take the same measurement you have on that shoulder, you take it on the chest line and then connect it together to meet your shoulder slope that you took out earlier. Now after doing this, we're going to go ahead and take our bust points, our under bust, and then the half length. So from my shoulder downwards to my bust point is 10 inches. From my shoulder to my under bust is 13 inches. From my shoulder to my half length is 17 inches. So I'll go ahead and mark out these 3 lines and label the lines so that we know what each line is for. Now that we've taken out those 3 lines, you're going to come down from your waist. Depends on where you want your pleating to start from. So if you look at your screen, you see there are different styles of pleating after the waistline. So it depends on the one you want. I came down with 4 inches from my waistline down to get where I want my gathers to start from. So now that we're done with that, we're going to go ahead and determine where we want our sleeve to stop on the bust part on the sides, right? So from this, my under bust, I'm going to come up with 1 inch because the sleeve is a little lower than the bust. It's covering the bust, right? So I came up with 1 inch on my under bust and I drew out a new line there. So I'm going to connect my sleeve to meet this line. So for us to know how to connect this sleeve, from the end of your sleeve, you're going to come inward with 3 inches, connect it down to meet that line. The new 1 inch we went up with is a guide, right? So I'm going to use my curve ruler to connect from my under bust to meet the end of my sleeve. Now we have our sleeve out. So we're going to go ahead now and start taking our measurements on this line. The first measurement is our bust line. You're going to take your bust measurement divided by 4 on your bust line, and then on your waistline, take your waist measurement divided by 4. My waist is 30. I divide it by 4, give me 7.5. My bust is 38. If I divide it by 4, gives me 9.5. Then after taking that waist measurement on this line downward where our gathers will be starting from, you're going to take the circumference you have on that point. If it is 4 inches you came down from your waist width, measure that circumference and divide it by 4 and put it there. Then you're going to connect it together. Now back to the upper part of our pattern paper, we're going to be working on the neckline. This dress is a V neckline, it depends on what you want, but it's mostly V neck. So I'm going to use my straight ruler to come down from my neck circumference down to my bust line. This depends on where you want your V to stop. Your V can extend to under bust. It's your choice if you want to reveal your chest, right? So now that's that for the front neck. Now let's work on the back. The first thing I'm doing on this back is to snatch my zipper on the waist. So I came inwards from the beginning of my paper on the zipper allowance part with 0.5 inch, and then I use my ruler to connect from that 0.5 down to the half length and back up to the neckline. So after doing that connection, I'm going to now take my neck for the back. This first V we took is for the front, right? So now if you want to do a regular round neck for the back, you don't want your back open, it's only front you want to open, you can come down with 1 inch and take your regular round neck for back like I just did. But if you want your back to be V neckline as well, we are going to be drafting a V neck that's going to meet our zipper allowance or shortly before the zipper allowance. If you don't want it to get to the zipper allowance, you can come upwards with 1 inch from the bust line, right? So that it will not be too deep. Then you now make your connection straight down to meet the end of the zipper allowance. So these two lines we have here, one of the V is for front and the other V is for back. Now we have our pattern paper out. See how simple and straightforward it is. I'm going to go ahead now and cut out. I'm cutting off the other round neck because I'm working with a V neck. That's why I cut it like that. So I mentioned earlier, this pattern paper will serve as both my front piece and the back piece. So this is what we have. Remember to subscribe to our channel if you haven't done that. Also turn on your notification bell so that you'll be notified whenever we drop a new video. So guys, the next thing I'm going to cut is to cut along this 1 inch I went up with. Watch closely and see how I cut it. While this down part will serve as the down part of my dress, this upper part will now serve as the sleeve part. So if you want to place this pattern to cut your front, you're going to fold in the zipper allowance on both the down part and the upper part. But if you want to cut the back, you have to open up your zipper allowance. Then on this down part, you now do your gathers. We don't have to draft the gathers on paper, right? Also remember to slash open this upper part, which is the sleeve part, so that you have enough fabric to gather on the shoulder. So another thing, if you want to have a basque waistline, because this particular style can also come in basque waistline. So basque waistline is that V that starts from the waist down to your center front half length. Depends on where you want the V to stop, right? So I just came down with 1 inch from my waistline so that the V will come down a bit, and then I drew it a straight line down to my center front. So if you fold it and cut like this, it will give you a basque waistline. You will now gather on that V shape. It's also very fine. Whether you decide to make it a long V gathers or a round short gathers, it's completely optional. So guys, we've come to the end of this drafting tutorial. Remember to like and share this video, and I'll see you in the next one.